Number the green alchemist, the silence in the dining room was more brutal than any argument could have been. My father's fork clattered against his plate, the sound echoing through the tense space. "You're going to study." "Dirt," he finally managed, his voice laced with disbelief. My mother stared at her plate, avoiding my eyes. My younger brother snickered quietly into his napkin. "That's not a career, Alex. That's a hobby people do on weekends. You have a degree from a good university, use it for something respectable. This is embarrassing." I remember the hot shame that flooded my cheeks, burning me from the inside out. I had just announced my dream of becoming an environmental restoration specialist, of healing damaged ecosystems, and my family saw not ambition but absurdity. "It's not just dirt," I whispered, my voice barely audible. "It's about bringing life back to places that have lost it." My father's response was a dismissive wave. "You'll grow out of this nonsense." Eventually, the painful departure and relentless pursuit. That night, I packed a single bag and left without saying goodbye. I found a small apartment near a degraded wetland and dedicated myself to proving my family wrong. For 5 years, I worked menial jobs by day and studied restoration techniques by night, my hands permanently stained with soil. Friends drifted away, unable to understand my obsession. "Why not just get a real job?" they'd ask. But I knew what they couldn't see. Beneath every barren landscape lies dormant potential, waiting for the right hands to awaken it. The arduous ascension and profound triumph. My breakthrough came when I successfully restored a small, neglected city park that experts had declared beyond saving. The project gained attention, leading to more opportunities. Eventually, I founded Terra Renewal, a company that specializes in transforming damaged industrial sites, polluted waterways, and degraded agricultural land into thriving ecosystems. Our methods have restored over 50,000 acres across 3 continents, creating sustainable habitats that support biodiversity while sequestering carbon. What started as one person's ridiculous dream has become an international enterprise that's literally healing the planet, 1 acre at a time. The cathartic return and poetic justice. Last month, I received a letter from my sister. My father was ill, and they needed my help with the old family farm, the same place where they'd mocked my dreams decades earlier. The farm, like their faith in me, had withered under poor management and drought. When I drove up the familiar gravel driveway, I saw my father sitting on the porch, not with his usual commanding posture, but slumped in his chair, looking diminished. "Alex," he said, surprise in his voice. "I heard you weren't well," I replied. "Thought I might be able to help." For weeks, I worked alongside my family, not mentioning my company's success or the awards I'd received. Instead, I showed them what I'd learned: how to read the land, understand its needs, and coax life back from the brink. We rebuilt the soil, planted native species, and created a water catchment system. Slowly, miraculously, the farm began to transform. The first green shoots pushed through the parched earth, and I saw something in my father's eyes I hadn't seen in 30 years, all mixed with wonder. One evening, as we sat watching the sunset over what was now a thriving demonstration garden, my father spoke. "I never understood," he said quietly. "All those years ago, I thought you were throwing your life away." "I know," I replied gently. "But you weren't just playing in dirt," he continued, a tear tracing a path down his weathered face. "You were healing it. You were speaking its language while the rest of us were shouting." In that moment, I realized this wasn't about vindication. It was about understanding. My family had judged based on what they knew, but they couldn't see the world through my eyes, the eyes of someone who sees possibility where others see only barrenness. The greatest reward wasn't their apology, but watching them finally understand that sometimes the most impractical dreams are the ones that change everything. As I drove away from the farm, now transformed, I thought about how true success isn't measured in dollars, but in the difference you make in the world. And I knew, with absolute certainty, that I had succeeded beyond my wildest dreams. Not because I'd proved my family wrong, but because I'd stayed true to a vision that only I could see. Sometimes, the most beautiful transformations begin when you're willing to be the only one who believes.